Hello, I'm EP9, and I have another story that I wanted to get out to you before a week passed because I'm going on vacation. A miniature vacation, but still a vacation. This one is another submission, and it starts now. I still live with my parents, and I'm 25 years old, with not much of a life to show for that I can be proud of. My parents are always disappointed with me, and I would love to see me out of, and would love to see me out of their house, but I really can't afford to live on my own. I can only get jobs with really low pay, and I'm stuck, really, and I don't know what to do. It's painful having my cousins and other relatives around, because everyone just judges me and keeps asking me a million questions about my life. Anyhow, I'm used to it by now and relish the days my parents are out of the house and I can be on my own. A couple of weeks ago, my parents were going away for the weekend and they were going up to London. I didn't do much except for watch shows on Netflix and ordered food. I decided to go to sleep much earlier than usual, about 7:30 p.m., because I felt really tired and just called it a night. I don't really have any friends anymore, and I lost contact with them. So loneliness is a common friend to me. I brushed my teeth and put on my sleeping clothes, and the bed felt more comfortable than usual, and it was just so warm, and I could feel myself dozing off really nicely. Then I remember waking up all confused and a little agitated, but I wasn't sweating at all. I thought I had slept the whole night, but the clock only showed 8:30 p.m., and in that moment I could hear my own voice coming from my parents' room. It was my voice shouting for help, but I was still too tired to take notice of it, or really care about it, and I passed it off as tiredness. As I slumbered off again, nicely into the night, I woke again in a rush, and I could feel my heart was racing a little. It felt like I had been sleeping for days now, but the clock showed that it was only 9:30 p.m., and as I tried to get my senses working again, I could still hear my voice calling for help in my parents' room. I started to wonder what was going on, and also I was a little afraid, but I still felt that it had something to do with my sleep, and the mind can play funny tricks when you're waking up. I mean, I have had dreams, and just as I had woken up, I could still hear the dreams in my mind for a couple seconds. So I went back to sleep. And when I woke up again, I felt like I was asleep for weeks this time, but the clock only showed 10:30 p.m., and I seemed to keep waking up every hour. My mind was more alert now, and I could clearly hear my voice coming from my parents' room shouting for help. I knew this wasn't a dream because that night I wasn't having any dreams. I got up from my bed and looked out of my bedroom door, and I could hear my very own voice coming from my parents' room. I sounded completely and utterly frightened, and I decided to go back to bed and just ignore it. I awoke with a sudden fright once again, and it felt like I had been asleep for months this time. But it was only 11:30 p.m., and I could hear my voice much, much louder, sounding to be in pain more so than last time. It wasn't in my parents' room anymore, but in the bathroom this time. And I got up, and for a minute I was just listening to my own voice crying for help. You know, when you hear yourself talk and it sounds weird and unusual and you don't seem to like it. I was having one of those moments. I decided to get up and walk towards the bathroom and rested my ears against the bathroom door. I could hear my voice screaming in pain, constantly begging for help, and I wanted to knock on the door. But I also didn't want to, as I was afraid. I ran back to my bed, where I closed my eyes and just hoped I would wake up in the morning. My desires weren't accepted, as I awoke in such confusion, and my head seemed to be all over the place. It was only 1 a.m. now. I could hear myself screaming in the bathroom, and extremely desperate for help this time. More so than even last time, and it was so deafening, and I decided to knock on the bathroom door. As I did, just then, all of a sudden, a silence came over everything, and I heard something unlocking the bathroom door. The door opened, and I couldn't see anything because it was so dark inside the bathroom. Something dragged me in, and all I remember was being in such pain and misery. Also, the fear was like nothing else. I could hear someone on the outside every 1 to 2 hours, walking up to where was being tortured and then walking away. I screamed for help even louder each turn, though. Then when it seemed like an eternity of suffering and torture had gone by, I finally heard a knock at the door, and it opened. I was let go, but I didn't know what was torturing me or what it looked like. Then, every night after that, I could still hear my voice calling for help in a different room, but I never answer it. And I'm definitely working harder to get out of this place. That's the story, guys. I hope you liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Anyways, don't be afraid to comment down below what you thought. Send me the link to another story. Doesn't even need context or a title, although I would prefer one in case there's not one written on the page. And yeah, also might be undergoing a slight name change, might not. It really depends. But Enlisted Plague 9 is more of my gaming thing than a horror name anyways, so. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. As usual, I'll go and post my Facebook down below, so in case you want to message me or write a comment down on the post over there instead. Just whatever you would like to do. The more stories, the merrier. And yeah. Hope you guys have a nice day. EP9 out.